order of the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency, our regular meeting of Tuesday, June the 6th, 2017, and call to order, roll call.
The minutes will reflect all council members present.
Okay. Invocation will be done by Pastor Richard Rodriguez, House of Bread Ministries.
Father in heaven, we thank you for this day, Lord God. And Lord, we thank you, Lord God, for your many blessings, Lord God. We pray for your wisdom, Lord God, and we thank you for the leadership here, Lord God, for your word declares that all authority has been established by you. May your spirit lead this meeting. Be here present with us, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance, Don.
Sure. Please face the flag. Join me in the pledge. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pastor. Okay, we have item number 1, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I
I'll
have a
second. I'll second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. And then we have item number 2, public appearances and comments. And I'm going to use the mayor's discretion here. And first on the agenda will be to recognize the Brawley Union High School varsity baseball team and their coaches on their magnificent season and their win in San Diego. And so we'll do that first on the agenda. We have a certificate for each of the young men, and we have a certificate for each of the coaches. I know the parents are all here. I can't tell you how proud we are all as a city council here among us. Without further ado, we'll start with the baseball certificates. Maybe I could have the council go down front, and we'll bring, we'll hand them out as they come up here.
Yeah,
and then,
absolutely. I'll hand them out.
I just
Okay.
want to say that I'm extra honored because I have a nephew on the team, and his name is Blake Zeleny.
Very nice. Okay, so how do you want to do
They wanna go
this?
down there?
If you want
How
to
do you
go
wanna do
stand
it?
down there with them, and then we'll all come down and take a picture.
Okay.
Maybe you could, you want to go, you want me to read the names off
Read
of
the
here?
names and I'll make sure it's the right
All right. Okay. So for the baseball team, the certificates, John Gonzalez. Kenneth Delgado. Dylan Reyna. Blake Zeleny. Robert Burdell. Casey Klein. Jacob Sapp. Mark Cisneros. Jude Luttrell. Jonathan John J. Aguirre. George Mickle.
George, I'm going to hand it to George because he's a George just like me. So there you go.
Angel Fonseca.
Yeah.
Nathan Torres. Greg Mercado. Carson Cooper. Ethan Torres. Jesus Manzanedo. Nicholas Houchin. Isaac Rios. Luis Magana. Alex Hernandez. Christian Garcia. Alexia Phillips. Okay, so that's the team.
Let's give him
Let's give them a big hand. Let's get the coaches up here. And we have for coaches, Pedro Carranza. Lawrence Landy. Carlos de la Trinidad. Stuart Harvey. Rick Rubio. Adrian Magana. Jerry Nunez. Alex Ibarra. And Brian Gannon.
All right, let's give everybody a big round of applause. We're gonna take a group picture with everybody. If you
Yes.
could squeeze in as tight as you can.
I don't know if we can get everybody. Maybe someone's kneeling down.
Some of you might need to get down here. Coaches, no, let's get everybody in. Yeah, we can.
We'll stand on my tiptoes.
Coaches, get in here.
Coaches,
Let's get everybody in.
we're number one. I don't think they're all going to get in there.
Mr. Mayor, can you stand up, please?
Be nice.
Jerry, stand up.
It's cold. It's cold.
A lot of warm bodies in here. I'm sweating.
Yes, that's a I don't know, you can ask them.
Carranza, Mr. Carranza.
Coach Carranza, would you like to say something? Hang on, let's kind of quiet.
Coach is gonna share some words with us if you can.
All right, boys, just so that you don't sit down and then stand right back up, just stay where you're at. On a personal note, I'd like to thank everybody involved in this great success story from Brawley baseball. It's still, I'm a big believer, it takes a village to raise a kid, and the same thing with baseball. It wasn't me, it wasn't my coaching staff, it was us, the community. The city's been great. Ms. Dorsey, awesome to work with. Her staff, awesome to work with. I mean, I don't know how many times we called, hey, we're gonna have a game after all, and they always make it work. So, as a coach, I greatly appreciate that. I think the players don't understand how much work goes on behind closed doors, having to talk to people, get things done, and she's been awesome. As far as the work on the field, I think their success on the field shows the work they put in to get into it, to accomplish what we did. I was talking to the mayor before, and as far as I'm concerned, from what I've been told, is in the history of Brawley High, they've never won a baseball championship. So it's something that I think will live forever in their minds in the history of Brawley. And once again, I think it definitely, without a doubt, was a team effort. Team being the city, the administrative staff, the teaching staff, the counseling staff, and of course the effort of these young men on the field. And to that, I think they deserve an applause. Because
Mr.
of
Mayor.
us, it's really hot in here.
Coach, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I'm just going to echo again, just what a tremendous job, coaches, players, and I'm going to throw the shout out as a parent myself to the parents that I know for a fact, this dates back to, for a lot of you guys, from T-ball and to where you are today. I can tell you, I know there were some moist eyes in what you guys accomplished, so. And there isn't probably a bigger cheering section than your parents behind you that I know for many of them sacrificed, whether it was time, effort, energy, coaching, camps, clinics, whatever. You put it all together, but incredible effort. Not only will it be remembered for forever, it'll be immortalized because it gets to hang very proudly in our gymnasium. And there aren't that many, maybe other than wrestling, CIF championships. So, I mean, with that in mind, I know there's a couple football, I know a little bit, I know the history, but there is not a person, unless they came from El Centro, that's not proud of you here in the city of Brawley. So, great job, you guys.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations. And a young lady. You said young lady.
Yes.
You forgot about the one girl on the team.
Did I?
All the young-
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome, huh? Thank you.
Hey, hopefully
Thank
it's
you.
cooler outside at Las Chavelas there, huh? Congratulations, everyone.
We lost
Be
almost
safe tonight, huh?
everybody. Hi.
Take care.
We lost almost everybody. Congratulations.
Bye, everyone.
It was great. Fantastic.
Bye, baby. Oh, thank you. Thank you, hijo.
¿Te portas bien, Roberto, eh?
My nephew.
¿Sabes?
Got it. Very nice. Well,
more
that
in
gave us a
here.
lot of room in there.
Bye, Marilyn.
You guys get spread out now.
I thought it
Bye.
might. I thought if we moved forward with that first, we'd all have a little more breathing space. Okay. Moving right on to item 2A. Introduction of Jose Sanchez, our Assistant Wastewater Treatment Plant Chief Operator, by Guillermo Cias, Public Works Director, City Engineer. Guillermo.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. I'm glad to introduce to you Mr. Jose Alfredo Sanchez, who is graduated from Calexico High School. He completed 5 semesters of business administration. He studied water technology at IBC and completed water and wastewater courses at University of Sacramento. Mr. Sanchez worked for 4 years for the city of Calexico Airport. In 2009, he volunteered as an operator in training for the wastewater treatment plant in Calexico. Then he was hired as an operator grade 2 and lab technician. In 2015, he was hired at the Burbank Water Reclamation Plant as an operator grade 3. And after 1 year, he was promoted to the lead plant operator supervisor. Today, the City of Brawley is glad to hire Mr. Jose Gonzalez as the Chief Assistant Operator of the wastewater treatment plant. Jose, welcome to the City of Brawley.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to the City of Brawley for giving me this opportunity to serve for the city. For my side, I will do my best to serve the city. I will apply all my experience to the plant to have a successful plant and a successful project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Touchman, if I may make one comment that might be of interest to the council. So we lost Mr. Sanchez to a much larger, more populated area, but we're very happy to welcome him back as a qualified candidate that was successful in the hiring process back at Imperial Valley. So we're really, really proud to get him out of the big city and back to Imperial Valley where his roots are, and we're looking forward to his long and successful career with us.
Very good.
Excellent.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
I'm going to use my mayor's discretion and move down to item 2D, the mayor's presentation of certificate of appreciation to Erasmo Gonzalez for community service. And I'd like to read some things to you. Erasmo Gonzalez began volunteering over 30 years ago at the Brawley Lions, for the Brawley Lions Club, and he wanted to do more in the Valley, so he began volunteering with a few other organizations. Erasmo has volunteered at the Farmers Coalition of Imperial Valley, the Brawley Kiwanis Club, Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts. He is the current board president of Imperial Valley Cancer Support Center, formerly Between Women, Stockman's Club member, Clinicas Salud de Pueblo board member, Workforce Investment board member. Not only is he as an ambassador of the Brawley Chamber, but also a past board president, holding that position for quite a few years. He contributes his time and energy to the Imperial Valley Cancer Support Center, the American Cancer Society, the American Red Cross, the AARP, and the Lay Brothers of the Poor. He also volunteers his cooking skills for various organizations, such as the annual Cattle Call Chuck Wagon Breakfast, and I see him out there every year. Pioneers Memorial Hospital, St. Margaret Mary's Annual Fiesta, Brawley Parks and Recreation Summer Day Camp Sleepover, and we do appreciate that very much. Desert Cancer Resource Center Annual Campout, the Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony, and the Brawley Employees Recognition Banquet. And he volunteers for a lot of different things. Erasmo is employed at Smith Candle as the Director of Safety Services and has been for over 13 years, providing a wide variety of training, including CPR, sexual harassment training, and injury and illness prevention workshops. Erasmo is the proud father of 3 daughters and the grandfather of a boy and a girl. And so with that, we'll have Erasmo come up and we have a presentation for him. He's a friend of mine. I've seen him in Brawley all over the place. I'm very proud to have him come up and receive this recognition. And I'd like to open it up to the, why don't you come up here?
We're going to roast you first,
Roast.
Erasmo.
That's a roast.
Uh-oh. Just, I can't even begin to tell you how long I've known him. He has bugged me all my life, but
But you,
on top of all that, he's a very good friend. And anytime, we needed something, his trailer to cook, I used to be the president of the Westmoreland Lions, and he would graciously go to Westmoreland and help us cook. Not only would he bring his trailer, but he would bring other things to be helpful. So thank you so much for everything you have done for the city and for the kids also.
I too have known Erasmo for quite a few years, and he left some things off the list. After hearing that list and the things that I know about Erasmo and all the things he's helped out with, I wonder when he has time for any personal life. But I think he makes time for that too, because I see him out and about having some fun. But I did want to note that I did serve with Erasmo on the Workforce Investment Board for many years, and he was very, very responsible and always interested in helping the community, not just Brawley, but I've also, even before I saw him in Brawley, I used to see him at the Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast. He'd serve coffee for the farm workers out there too. So there's a lot, and he also helped me out when I used to set up booths for the Cancer Relay. So I think everybody in the Valley knows Erasmo and appreciates everything that you do. And don't stop doing it, because if you do, we'll find you somewhere. But thank you so much. We appreciate it very much.
thank you.
Erasmo, I, being the transplant, can say you're actually one of the first people that I did meet, so I can say that I've known you as long as I've been here as well, and I think that's a testament to everything that was just shared with us, and I didn't realize how lazy I am until I listened to your resume there of what you do. It's just tremendous, but all that being said, Erasmo, you're beyond anything a connective friend, a person in this community that really pulls a lot of things together, groups, organizations, resources, the Smith family with the business, and we're all one community, and you're just a great representative of really what makes Brawley Brawley. So it's been a pleasure to be here today, that I get to be on this council as we kind of share this small token of the tremendous value that you have brought. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Erasmo, I mean, when I hear the long list of things that you're a part of, I see you everywhere, and I know Councilmember Howdy had said, I don't know when you have time for a personal life and things, but really, I wonder when you have time to sleep with all the things going on, right? But that's just because you have a big heart. Every time I've run into you at Erasmo, at different locations, at different events, you're always a positive person and, always respectful and always very positive. And that's the sort of energy that you take into everything that you participate in, not just in your assistance with city events, but in everything that you do. And you really love your community. I love my community. I know what that feels like. But certainly over the years, you've participated in so many events and influenced so many people's lives. And sometimes it just goes well behind the scenes. People may not know that you're involved and you're participating. But, that's why I always say that recognize people for what they do. I think it's very important, not just so others know, but really to know that you're appreciated, because I truly appreciate you as a person, as a friend, and as somebody who loves your community. So thank you very much for everything that you do. Congratulations on your recognition, and keep on doing it. I really appreciate it, and I want to see it happen. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And would you like to say a few words? You don't have to. Okay, I'll read the plaque, though. In recognition of Erasmo Gonzalez for dedicated service and commitment to the community of Brawley, June the 6th, 2017. And we'll come down and present that.
Congratulations, my friend.
Good job. All right.
All right.
I know, right? Hey, Erasmo, we're going to reward you by having this book.
Okay, cook for us.
That's good.
Hey, get a picture with the Smith family.
Yeah, we can. We can if they'd like to do that. Yeah, that's fine. You guys
Greg,
can come up and
you guys
take a
want to take a
picture.
picture up here as well?
Please.
Yeah, the family?
Karen?
Yeah.
Real quick,
Get up there.
real quick.
Yeah,
We'll
get up there.
clear out of the way.
We'll
Yes.
clear out of the way
Yes.
for you.
Come on, Karen. Hurry up. Everybody's in the picture. If I have to, you too.
All right.
We have a very dedicated employee there, that's for sure.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna share a funny story, but maybe I'll do it.
Yeah, we won't do that.
That I know
No
about.
funny
So
story.
cute.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very nice to meet you.
They should send in.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your
Tony
dad's
Guy.
very deserving.
Tony Gallegos is having a free carne asada and drinks at the ACC if anybody wants to go.
Okay.
We can
All right.
sell it, yeah.
Okay, next item, 2C, number
He said
2C of
2C,
public
yes.
appearances, a proclamation declaring 2017 as responsible, oh wait, missed one, sorry. We have the Imperial County District Attorney's Office presentation on notices to businesses regarding human trafficking, and we have Jody Miller, investigative assistant,
Yeah, I'm a deputy district attorney.
deputy district attorney. There you
Deputy
go.
district
She
attorney.
needs, yeah.
It's not on my agenda, that one, sorry.
She's actually here to serve you.
Yes, yeah.
We gotta
I
get
got
that one right, huh?
Let's do that first.
Now, as you know, I'm here with the district attorney's office, and one of the crimes that we prosecute is human trafficking. With Imperial County's geographic location, it makes it easier to hide and move victims within and through the county, making it difficult for law enforcement to locate and identify potential victims. Because of this, the California legislature has passed a law stating that certain businesses are required to post notices regarding human trafficking, informing the public and victims of phone numbers that they can call for help. And I believe you have a copy of the posting in front of you. Now, we have already identified the businesses in Brawley that are affected by this law, and we will be sending them letters informing them of their obligation to post the notices, as well as providing the notice poster itself. We wanted to let you know that this will be happening soon, and if anyone has any questions, please refer them to our office, and we'd be more than happy to answer them. All right?
Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yes, nice to meet you. Thank you.
You were right,
All
quick.
Quick and to the point.
Yep.
Okay. So now we'll move to item 2C, which is a proclamation declaring June 2017 as Responsible Fatherhood Month, and it'll be presented to Juan Campos Jr., Coordinator of Educational Services. Come on up, Juan.
Hello.
Come up to this microphone if you would. Let me read the proclamation first. We have a proclamation declaring the month of June 2017 as Responsible Fatherhood Month. Whereas Father's Day is celebrated in the United States on June the 18th, and this day honors fathers, dads, daddies, papas, and pops, and celebrates fatherhood, paternal bonds, and the influence of fathers in society. And whereas Father's Day is a special day to honor the men who raised us and thank them for their selfless dedication and love, and whereas from the first moments of life, the bond between a father and child is important, whether it is in placing a Band-Aid on a skinned knee, fixing a flat bike tire, building a pillow fort, or telling a bedtime story, dads instill values and introduce wonders into the lives of their children. And whereas fathers are our first coaches, mentors, role models, push us to succeed, encourage us when we struggle, and offer unconditional love and support. And whereas the role of a responsible father carries enormous responsibilities, and an active and committed father makes a lasting difference in the life of a child, and whereas the Imperiali Regional Occupation Program promotes responsible fatherhood, responsible parenting, healthy relationships, family development, and stabilization, now therefore be it proclaimed that the entire month of June 2017 be declared Responsible Fatherhood Month in the city of Brawley. And now therefore be it resolved, I, Sam Couchman, Mayor of the City of Brawley, do hereby proclaim that all of those in the City of Brawley join the celebration by extending their knowledge, support, and participate in activities that promote responsible fatherhood and acknowledge fathers for their contributions to children, families, and society. And that's the proclamation.
Thank you.
And Juan, would you like to say something?
Yes, please, thank you. Thank you to the mayor and the rest of the council for allowing me to come up and talk about Responsible Fatherhood Month, and then also for proclaiming this month as responsible. This month is Responsible Fatherhood Month as well. Imperial Valley Regional Occupational Program, we're going through some rebranding, and one of the things that we're really happy about in our branding is the way that we empower youth and adults in our community. And one such area is what you're talking about here today is supporting families. So we're really proud of that. I'm the former coordinator of our Responsible Fatherhood Program. We started doing this kind of work back in 2011, and we continue to this day, working with fathers and families and parents. And again, I just want to reiterate how grateful I am to this council for proclaiming this Responsible Fatherhood Month. I always get choked up when I revised this proclamation a week ago, so I always kind of get a little choked up, and that's kind of what I'm kind of fighting back, the being choked up on it, because it's, when you write this stuff, I wrote it about maybe 4 years ago, and then I had to revise it not so long ago, and as you were speaking the words, I was kind of thinking about my dad. So it's a very sweet proclamation, and I thank you for reading it, and I just want to wish you all a happy Father's Day.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. You guys want to come down? Sure.
Should we go
Sure.
now? It's picture day today. This picture day today.
My hair's messed up.
Never is good. It's just.
They want to take pictures, but they might have.
I didn't catch that, that's funny.
Okay, ready? Big smile.
Congratulations. Say hi to your boss, Edwin, for me.
Congratulations.
Know him real well.
I'll say hi to him.
Okay. We both know him very well.
And me three.
Thank you, Juan. Does anybody else have any public appearances from the public on an item not on our agenda? If not, then we'll move right along to the...
Miguel, you made the movement.
Hey, Miguel,
You
you
made the
wanna
movement.
come
Now
up
you have
here?
to come up.
Come on up if you want to talk.
Hey, he's here for the movie. He brought
He's here for
popcorn.
the movie? That's
Yeah.
the movie, that's all the movie you're gonna
Better
get
seen it right here than.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
online.
Better than online.
Oh, it's always better in person.
It's because you buffer a lot online.
Yeah, I think they edit it.
Yeah, that's what.
Probably. Number 3, the consent agenda. Items are approved in one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, sorry to interrupt you. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. So we can move on to item 4, regular business. And the first item is 4A, discussion and potential action, approve resolution 2017, resolution of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, approving the form of and authorizing the execution and delivery of a preliminary official statement, a purchase contract, and a continuing disclosure agreement in connection with issuance, sale, and delivery of pension obligation bonds. Ruby.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, council members, Ruby Walla, Finance Director. Starting on page 259 of your agenda, the staff report as prepared covers an item that we've been discussing for quite some time now, just briefing council, discussing heavily in our budget process. In February of this year, City Council authorized staff to proceed in the refinancing of our outstanding pension obligations for the city, approving us to move forward with a validation process that took about 120 days. We've completed that judgment process May 2nd. A judgment was entered by the courts. We just completed our appeal period, if I'm not mistaken, June 2nd. And now the next step is to proceed. In order for us to proceed with the issuance, the city must approve a preliminary official statement, a continuing disclosure agreement, and a purchase contract, which are all included within the agenda packet. These documents are being drafted. They are in the process of still being finalized, going through different reviews. Overall, the city staff, and of course with our financing team, which we have here as well, we have Carmen Vargas with BOK Financial Securities and Don Hunt with Norton Rose and Fulbright. Carmen Vargas serves as our underwriter during this transaction, and Don Hunt as our bond counsel to support in this transaction as well. Overall, in summary, we've been reviewing this, seeking a savings, seeking ways for the city to achieve some type of savings overall in our overall compensation costs, knowing that our CalPERS rates go up year after year, whether our safety plan or our miscellaneous plans, primarily the accrued unfunded liability for our classic plans, currently at about 17 million. So we've been strategizing, as we know the city doesn't have significant reserves on hand to pay down these debts solely. So going with the avenue as a proposed approach is going with pension obligation bonds, realizing that we could have potential savings of $300,000 per year. The city is currently on a 30-year plan as structured with CalPERS. It's a 30-year payment plan going through full complete payout of 2047. The city's structure here is proposing, and as we've presented to council in the past, is we're going from a 30-year to a 15-year repayment, still achieving those savings. We have briefed council as well, and council is very aware of the change in the discount rate that CalPERS has issued over the next, not in the current 17-18 year, but the coming years that follow. We have been trying to work with our actuary to get any new information, because as staff and the financing team, trying to get the best numbers possible as we get closer and closer. They are not in the position to give us any new numbers at this point in time, as they're working through their numbers and they don't release until August. But furthermore, with the information we have first-year savings about 442,000 preliminary numbers. We're moving forward in the process, looking at the end of the fiscal year, first part of the end of this fiscal year, maybe roll over to the first part of the fiscal year if all goes well and all goes as planned. We do have a scheduled rating call tomorrow that will basically give the city's position, our strategy, and see what type of rating that we'll be seeking at that point, and hopefully it turns out well, and at that point, then we can move forward in the process as well. But overall, the city, tonight's city's action is authorizing us to proceed and approving the preliminary official statement and continuing disclosure agreement and the purchase contract. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Dawn Hunt and Carmen Vargas are available as well if you have any follow-up questions.
I didn't.
Does anyone from the council have any questions for Ms. Waller? Okay. Any discussion? Everybody? Okay. Okay.
I mean, if anything, I might have a comment for the public's benefit, whoever didn't look at it, but I appreciate, again, staff. Everything was, there's quite a few documents, but with it, I think this is an essential part of the ongoing budget discussion that we've been having, and this could play a significant role. So, again, appreciate where we're at, and as I think briefed from a few meetings back, this is a timing issue as far as getting this whole process through. So I think it's important that we continue to move forward.
Okay.
Substantial savings. It says 300,000 per year for 15 years, but that's not even considering the, whatever was left on, was it 30 years?
Right, as it goes
So
back, the
15
true
years,
picture for the city, as CalPERS issues their actuarial reports annually to the city, they give options. The standard is a 30-year term, then it goes a 20-year term or 15, which gives that as an option to each agency to, if they decide that they have enough cash on hand that they want to, make a larger payment, they can follow a new schedule. However, as standard is, it's 30 years. So to give the city a clear picture, we'll be showing where we are. If we do nothing and stay as is today, we're on the 30-year term, moving up to what we're proposing is a 15-year term, shortening that term by 50%. So really, you have some averaged savings smoothed out through that 15-year period.
Oh,
and
I
then the
see.
city will have significant
see what you
savings
did.
coming year 16 to
Right.
30.
Right, that's
So
what I'm saying. I
that,
mean,
yeah, be relieved.
I mean, this is
of-
just considering the first 15, so that tail end, I mean, you're not even counting
It's
that. Yeah,
substantial,
it's substantial,
yes.
yeah.
Over
I
the
think we have
term.
some agencies that
Yeah.
push it out longer, but we're actually
Well, that's
shortening
like
it,
over,
which means
you
that
know,
we save
3
more money in the long run.
Right, and there has been any negativity around pension obligation bonds. It's been
Yeah.
steered around the sense that
Because then it's paid.
pension obligation bonds, when they're issued, those funds have been reinvested, not so
Right.
much to pay off the debt. In City of Brawley's case, we're looking at paying CalPERS, pay off the debt,
Right.
pay it off on their books, and now moving to a debt service, annual debt service payment. We are not reinvesting those funds in any variable of investments or anything
that's a
to
good-
gain a higher yield or
that's a good-
potential
Think
play
of it
with the market in that sense.
In a real simple concept, think of it as a home. You
Yes.
owe 30-year loan, now you're at a 15-year, you're having savings even with the shorter term. And once you get to year 16, that's all gravy. You have no payment, and so, where you had one before, right? And
We
so-
have
yeah,
it for
we
the
have-
side fund.
Right, for the side
we're
fund.
the side fund, the original intent of the side fund, interestingly, was for the city to get a reduced rate up front and finance the remainder, but the intention was to pay it off in a very, very short window, something like 4 years, if I remember correctly. With every year, the city was unable to do so, and it's elongated the framework as CalPERS performance has declined. So we're kind of, without taking action, there always is an option to not move forward, but it's almost as though we're in a cycle that is very, very challenging to financially work ourselves
Make it
out
work,
of, to stay in status quo.
I just, for clarification purposes, are we talking about the side fund right now? We are talking about the side fund.
Side fund is the unfunded liability, and the side fund is a component of that.
Of
There's
unfunded.
different, the way the unfunded liability is as scheduled with CalPERS, the side fund, there's an amount for a side fund, and then there's our kind of where they're at.
The
and-
regular PERS payments for the, aside from the side fund,
Correct, they're separate.
right?
Okay, all right.
But that's,
If
overall, I mean, it's
there
multi-million
are
dollars.
no other
Right.
questions.
Ruby, can you recap the contribution rates today versus what they will be in the future once paid off?
Yes.
So I think the figure for safety, if I recall offhand, was 54% is what the current obligation is.
For example, since PERS started paying, requiring cities or, well, agencies to pay these unfunded liability payments up front, or you can pay them incrementally over the 12-month period, of course with interest. They have a normal cost, and that normal cost was also introduced with the formation of PEPRA, determining the normal cost for cities. So for example, for public safety, our classic plan moving into the 17-18 fiscal year, our employer cost is 54%. Of that, 34% is for the unfunded liability. So 34% of
So
that.
20%,
The other portion is then which will
Right.
it's going to be reduced because we're not going to be paying at that rate. It's
Right,
going to be at a
it'll be
reduced rate.
significantly reduced,
So our
right.
rate will go down, and our employer contribution rate will then go from 54 to 27 with CalPERS,
Okay.
more or less. And then we have is
And
for.
that can be used for,
Let me get it. For miscellaneous, our miscellaneous classic plan, currently we're at 23.9% going into the 17-18 fiscal year. And 15% of that is
okay.
attributed to the unfunded liability portion. The other remaining portion is then, what, the 14% or so, that's then the city's cost.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
All right.
8%.
If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion approving the form of and authorizing the execution and delivery of the preliminary official statement and the purchase contract and continuing disclosure agreement in connection with the issuance, sale, and delivery of the pension obligation bonds.
I'll
Do I have
second.
A second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any input from the public? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And that's all encompassing, right? That's the resolution, the contract, and everything else, right? that
Yep.
needed, yeah.
That's it.
All three.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ruby. Okay, item 4B, discussion and potential action to approve a consulting services contract with the Holt Group Incorporated for the Volunteer Park Phase 2 East Parking Lot improvements in the amount of $35,805. And it's on page 433 of your agenda package.
If there's any
Thank
questions
you.
from council, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second, and then we'll go to discussion. Any discussion from council on this issue?
Just as a quick overview, this is a three-phase project. The western end of the property was accomplished in the last 2.5 years with support from the Air Pollution Control District. Phase 2 is the east end of the property, and we're hoping for someday to successfully secure funds for the center of the site as well. The interior access between Warrenfield and Volunteer Park.
You mean the road?
Yes, along with parking spaces that are
Where they always
associated.
try to run me down? Yeah, I got that. Okay.
So we're excited to have this project move forward
Without
with the
violating
support
any
from
of
the
the
Air
time.
Pollution Control District. As an item of note, the Holt Group is quite familiar with the site as they were involved in the Phase 1 design.
Right.
Is that trailer that they have in the middle, on the kind of southwest corner of the basketball, is that going out?
Not
a
in connection
trailer.
with this project as I recall it, but if I.
It looks like a trailer. I don't
Are you
think
talking about a
it's-
storage container?
Oh, is that what it is?
I think it's a
I
storage.
haven't really gone in and looked at it.
Storage
Is that staying there?
It's not part of the east parking lot, is
No.
it? This is
No.
the
I
east
don't believe
parking
so.
lot, not the
This is the east, not the
alleyway, right?
interior.
It's the youth football.
That's the interior, that's on the interior little, like alleyway that runs
Yeah.
through there, or the
But-
drive through there.
Where's the bathroom?
So that
It's
won't,
over here.
one of that, this isn't having an impact on that. We're doing the east parking
East
lot
parking.
with, where the dust comes up because people park inside there, right?
Alice Giroux. Are you thinking Alice Giroux by chance, or?
here.
Okay,
Volunteer?
right on the corner, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the unpaved part of the parking
all
lot
dirt
where
right now.
we did the other side, now we're trying to do the east side. We did the
Okay.
west side,
Okay,
now we're trying to do this, yes.
Very
Okay, so I have a motion and a second.
it's for the full.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion
Okay.
carries.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4C is discussion and potential action to approve amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement between the City of Brawley and the Holt Group Incorporated in the amount of $25,000 to review One World Beef biofilter plans and specifications and Main Street lighting improvements plans and specifications. And that's pages 454 of your agenda.
And Mayor Ketchman, as council is aware, the city returned red line comments to One World Beef for the biofiltro plans in late April. We are anticipating a submittal on their part to follow up to those red line comments, and at this point, we have no remainder, or the remainder is, I think, a little bit shy of $1,200.
Okay.
So at this point, we don't have expenditures known, but so that we don't have to come to council first to get authorization once the plans are in. This is here and available. It's proposed to be split $20,000 for One World Beef related plan check review and $5,000 for the Main Street lighting
For the Main
project.
Street lighting, okay. All right, any discussion from council on that? Any discussion from the public? Anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll
Okay.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, item 4D, discussion and staff action regarding the city council's summer 2017 public meeting schedule.
Our
We're just gonna
regrets
be
as,
off, right?
our regrets as staff, it should actually read discussion and potential action.
Oh, okay.
And what we were hoping to get feedback from council on is, in the month of July, our first meeting in July falls on the 4th, which is a Tuesday. So we wanted to talk to the council about your interest in a replacement date. And we also wanted to touch on the August dates when we have, for the last several years, gone dark. So
Okay.
just to see what council's wishes are, so we can plan accordingly.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not exactly sure if we have a loaded agenda in July, but I would, if there is a need to have 2 meetings in July, we should have them. If not, we should have, I would just propose that we have 1 meeting
On the 18th.
on the 18th.
On the 18th,
And
how
we've
does
gone
that
dark in
sound?
August, but we can always call a meeting if need be.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, we can always call an emergency meeting. We can call an emergency meeting in August if we need to. I noticed that there's 5 Tuesdays
Are we,
in
is the plan to go
August.
dark in August? Right now,
That's
at this
Normally
time?
we do.
generally
Okay.
speaking, we have done that.
Okay.
But if we need an emergency meeting, we're usually, enough of us are available to have a quorum if we had to do something, like say there was something related to something very, very important or an emergency within the city beef plant, otherwise there could be a lot of other things. We would have an emergency meeting.
And as an item of note, we are potentially expecting on the meeting of the 18th to have a public hearing in connection with the Brawley Mobile Home Park closure and relocation plan.
Okay.
And we're gonna do a lot of outreach in Spanish and English, so it's known that it's occurring, and to advise that the report, once it's received and deemed complete by the city, that it's available for public access, which is our.
So is the 18th okay with them?
Yes, I've already spoken. Well, the choice was given, just so you're aware. I made AMG aware that the 4th obviously wasn't going to work because it's a holiday. We didn't, and that we were not sure what date the council would wish to convene in early July. But if he had a drop dead date before the 18th, could he please let us know? So he was in contact in writing last night and stated the 18th is our preferred date.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
so
good.
that
Thank you.
works.
Does anybody have any objection to what I proposed?
No,
I
sounds
don't have
good.
any objection. As long
Set
as we're-
direction,
always
do we need
open
to
to
make a
emergency
motion?
meetings.
Yeah, as long as we're
Just
open to
direction.
emergency meetings. I don't know.
Just direction, okay.
Okay, unless there's something that comes up, and you'll have to let us know soon if something comes
Yes.
up that we need to have a meeting.
We're gonna need you on July 2nd.
Think so? I'll be here. I'm always
It's a
here.
Sunday.
I'm
Right.
always here. I don't know about you.
Sunday
guys.
at 9.
Okay,
I'll
so
call
we,
in.
so we've got that, we'll have a meeting on July the 18th, go dark in August, okay.
And dark in
All
August.
Okay, item number
Yeah.
5, departmental reports. 5A is our monthly staff report for June 2017 by Shirley Bonias, Personnel and Risk Administrator.
Mayor Couchman, Councilmember Shirley Benias, Personnel and Risk Management. Page 456, just a couple items to note, if I may. Currently, we are recruiting for an accounting assistant that you do not see on the report as a vacancy. It's an anticipated vacancy happening in July. We do have a dispatcher swear-in on June 20th at 9 o'clock. And we are in backgrounds with other candidates to continue the selection process for dispatcher. And of course, we're hiring many helping hands to help with the summer day camp program. So, yes, the city manager has 30 documents on her desk to review. So, any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
That program starts when, the middle of June?
Pat Dorsey could clarify, but the 19th is open gym.
Okay.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Correct.
And then July 5th is summer day camp.
Okay.
So that's why we're in the process of hiring now, so we can go through that process.
I recommend that all council members attend at least one day of.
Summer day
at
camp.
At the summer
Okay,
day
thank
camp,
you.
just to get an idea what it's like.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that, many a times.
All right.
What's your favorite game there, Sam?
Well, I like the Zumba, but my
Zumba?
grandson hates it and refuses to participate, so.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be
There's
going
paint
this
free to
time.
play
He's
early
13, I don't know if
morning.
he'll go over there or not, we'll see what's going to happen. The 5-year-old will be ready, though.
Be a junior leader.
Yes, a junior leader,
There you go.
I don't know. We'll discuss it.
Grandpa volunteered.
Okay, so if no questions for Shirley, then we'll go to our 2017 summer schedule. Save the date for dive-in movie night.
Oh, we'll have to
That's
do
a
that.
tough one.
We'll have to
Save
do
the
that
date
one
for
first.
dive-in movie night at the Lion Center Pool on July the 2nd at 7 PM, and the Alice Giroux Park reopening on June the 13th at 10 AM.
Yes, ma'am.
Pat Dorsey, Parks and Recreation Director.
Yes.
Yes, Pat.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Save the date. July 2nd is a Sunday, and we'll have our dive-in movie. This will be our 3rd year. Anyone wanting to volunteer, we're more than welcome to come over, have some fun.
So they watch the movie, I haven't been there, so
like
dive
your
in.
flyer.
I mean, you watch it
Yeah.
from
Thank you.
while you're in the pool, is
What's
that
the
it?
movie?
Or if you want to, give $20 towards the
Yes.
popcorn or the
Yes.
sodas, or we
What's-
gladly will take that also.
No popcorn.
What's the movie?
No
Gets in the
popcorn.
pool.
Popcorn's in the
Forget
pool, and then it's
Gets
soggy.
in the
man.
pool.
Then it's soggy popcorn.
Okay,
We
towards
don't
the
need
weenies and the
anything.
hot dog, but
Well, what's the movie, by the way?
What is the movie?
It's,
Yeah, I did tell you,
What was the
you were
movie?
gonna be needed July 2nd. It was up.
That's right.
Saving Dora. Miguel
Saving
knows.
Dora. Miguel
He said he
knows.
came.
He'll be there with
You know
bells
which one I
on.
heard
My
was
daughter
really
picked it.
good? The one with that Alec Baldwin plays the
Dora?
baby.
Plays a
an
baby.
I heard that one
aquatic
is really
movie.
good. I
Saving
even
Dora,
wanna
it's
go
an
see it.
aquatic movie, is that what?
Yeah, it's a
little
girl.
I
Saving
don't remember
Dora,
the name
the
of it. Is
aquatic
it Baby
movie.
something, isn't it?
It's a girl version of Nemo.
She doesn't.
It's a girl version.
Baby
I-
boss?
Baby Boss with Alec Baldwin? That
Okay,
one's a good
okay.
Our second,
right
our
along.
second
Sorry.
event will be our summer day camp schedule,
Okay,
and I'm passing those
Oh, here it
out.
is. Okay.
that's right here.
Like we said, open gym starts on the 19th. Summer day camp starts July 5th. We have Shirley working hard. Thank you, Shirley. Rosanna will be signing, and we'll be ready to start on the 19th.
We
Thank
have it
you.
in our packet here.
Big event coming up, Alice Giroux reopening,
Yes.
grand reopening.
Grand reopening.
That's this coming Tuesday, guys, at 10 a.m.
If I could add something, I would like, you know, some recognition for Karen Morgan there. I don't know if that's already
She'll be
planned.
there.
Do we have
But
her
I,
secured?
but I would also like to recognize the planning, excuse me, the Parks and Rec Commission at the time. You know, the members at the time, and that was, you know, I sat there with John Fernandez and some others. They were really supportive of the concept. I know we went through a couple rounds of financing, and we weren't successful the first round, and it was successful the second round. So we can reach out to them, might appreciate that.
Okay, we were planning to do some form of a special recognition for Karen. She, you know, was a great advocate for the project and also really pulling on the arms of the state parks.
Right.
So we were hoping to actually have her featured for a few minutes as a
Yeah.
speaker, as well as Mr. Casey, the principal of Oakley School.
Yeah, and they were helpful as well. I mean, they took so much time to be engaged, and I mean, it was very involved. The grant application packet was, it was so well done. You know, we weren't successful the first round, but they didn't forget us, you know, and honestly, it didn't help that they showed up the hottest day of the world, you know, and it was like, you know, it really was, and we weren't successful. They didn't even get out of the car. But I'm not kidding.
Roll down the window?
That bad, huh?
Yeah, and so, but they didn't forget us, and, you know, $2.7 million later, that's.
They probably thought it's so hot down there, they deserve
Yeah,
it.
they need some money.
No, I'm not exaggerating. The first time around, we weren't successful, but it really was. When they showed up, it was one of the hottest days of the year. And so-
Which day was that? Because
Yeah, it
once
was-
June
once-
kicks
yeah.
in, July,
Yeah.
August.
They're all-
Well, you know,
can pick any
for
day,
them,
right?
especially from not being
Yeah.
around here.
I think it was in July they came
Yeah,
back.
they came in July, yeah.
All right.
So-
And they were hot.
Pretty miserable, I guess.
Yes.
I bet.
But they
140 in the
wanted to go
shade.
back out to the park, so we took them back out there.
150 in the shade, and hidden in the shade.
And we
I have
did
one
But thank you,
thing,
Sarda.
one thing more to say.
Yes. Sure.
Well, maybe two. Our pool is running very well.
Thank you.
It's
All right.
just purring along.
Thank you.
Very proud of it. We thank Rosanna for getting involved personally in it. Thank you, Rosanna.
Well,
She
you have
even
to put
drives
in-
by to see if it's still running.
She had her scuba gear on. She was going
Stop
through, assessing the plaster.
The last thing I would like to say, the young lady standing in the middle of the baseball team is my niece. I'm very proud of her, and it runs in the family.
Hey, Pat, just make sure that the future generations stay in Brawley. That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
Don't you let them move out of Brawley.
Yeah, no, let them go there.
And I want to let you
them
know
go
that
to
the water
Imperial, I'll sit
Zumba
there.
ladies want to thank everybody who had to do with the swimming pool to get it ready for them. They were just dying not to be in the water. So thank you.
Very good. Okay. All right, moving right along. Item 6, informational reports. Record of building permits for April 2017, prepared by Francisco Soto, and it's part of your package. And you guys can take a look at that if there are any questions. It's a 2-pager, as it has been for the last quite a while. A lot of.
Lots going on.
Yes. A lot of things, a lot of new
a lot of building
houses,
permits for new single-family
a lot
residential.
of new houses.
Is Brawley Floral on there?
I don't believe for a building permit. I
I
know
don't
that
see
they were
anything.
moving forward with some exterior paint changes.
Yes. They had Brawley Yellow on there, she said.
They went through a review for the color palette for the downtown specific plan.
Cool.
So they,
I guess they colored it yellow, and they were told that wasn't their correct color.
right, I think remember the color palette issues with the downtown specific plan? Remember the green asparagus building and bringing back a palette that all of you endorsed and voted on? So all of the palette, the colors that are selected for the buildings are all within the palette. So if they're outside of the palette, they're not approved. I'd be
Outside of the
happy.
palette. Okay, because I think she also mentioned that AutoZone has the same color as they picked, so she just wondered why hers wasn't accepted.
I'd be happy to look at it further.
Would
I
you
am
please?
familiar with the issues that she specifically encountered and not those of AutoZone. But I can take a look at it.
And on these building permits, for instance, that building back there, it's the same owner, they just lease it out. Betty, I guess, was leasing also. So now Amy is leasing it the same. But she's being told that they need to put a
Water meter,
Backflow
yes.
preventer?
Yes,
Okay.
but I mean, even if she's not the owner.
Well, there's, the triggering events for a water meter installation are the same citywide. It's a building permit being pulled, or a change of responsible party in the form of a business license change. It's the way it's universally implemented throughout the city. That's the manner in which we delay upfront imposing on businesses the water meter installation. But if there is a precipitating event, which is the business license or a building permit being pulled, that's when it occurs.
Okay, I think this is the good time to talk about bringing it back to the book that we had mentioned. I think the gentleman, Donnie and George had talked about, having a book stating exactly what,
It's on there. It's on the business license guide.
Uh-huh.
Very clearly calls out water meter installation and potential backflow depending on the activity. It has all the steps on the guide for when you have a business license change, it's the same steps.
Okay, even though it's not business owner, they're just leasing the building.
Ownership of the building isn't the driver, it's the business license change. It's lots of businesses don't occupy property that they own. Many businesses don't.
Okay, so in other words, instead of the owner paying for that?
They have to work it out between
It's
owner
up to
and
whoever
tenant.
wants
We
to.
don't
Okay.
say it's your obligation versus another,
Mm-hmm.
but in many cases, it's negotiated in advance.
Okay, so I will send it to you so you can give her that copy of that.
Happy
So
to.
we can, now that our building
But
permits
just if I
are.
could add to that is one of the issues that we brought up a few weeks back when we presented some of the downtown incentives and maybe not requiring that just yet, or finding a way to where that's delayed, or, one of many things, right? So
Especially
just to
'cause
get people started in business.
She's a young
yeah.
lady, she's having her first baby, she's trying to open up a business, and it's gonna be very difficult for her to get out $1,500 more.
Right. We do offer timing relief. There's many, many arrangements for timing relief that are
Maybe she has to
negotiated.
talk to her and she can
Okay,
work out.
so I'll send her to you. Thank you.
That works good. Okay. Item 6B, City of Brawley agreements to provide dispatch services to the City of Calipatria and the City of Westmoreland.
So these items are provided as simply an informational item. We have updated our figures and agreements with our two neighboring jurisdictions. And the way we structure these arrangements are based on the load or volume of calls relative to our operations. So we currently provide dispatch services to Calipatria as well as the City of Westmoreland. And those agreements are executed by staff, but included in the backup for your information because they are arrangements in place that will run for a period of 2 years,
Okay.
2 fiscal years.
Is there any input from our chief of police back there?
Yes. Our new chief of police.
He thought he was gonna get away with it, so he's already.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff. I think Rosanna hit everything, all the points. This has been a long-standing partnership with the cities of Calipatria as well as Westmoreland to provide their public safety dispatching needs. The agreement that we have with them incorporates a 3-year average based on calls for service. And those averages are taken into account to ensure that there's fairness, that they pay for what they're using. For example, in our next evaluation, which will be done in 12 months from now, although it's a 2-year agreement, it is addressed at a 1-year mark. And so the year 2014 will fall off, and we'll calculate 15, 16, and 17 to get the average.
And if you'll all recall, we did make an adjustment to the price that we were charging. Some cities weren't contributing as much as they are today.
Right.
So I think the city of Calipatria was paying far less than they are currently, right?
Right. Well, remember there were also some upgrades associated
there was
with their
upgrades, right.
serving their needs. We did we provided for an arrangement that allowed them to delay the time at which they make the payment back. But
Right.
I think one of the features in here that we're trying to accomplish is that the city doesn't subsidize any other agency's service, that they pay for their fair share.
And how is that paid? Is that paid monthly, annually, or?
It's on a quarterly basis.
Quarterly? Okay. Thank you.
And they're up to date.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds
Very good.
That's an informational item,
Chief,
so
thank
we
you.
don't have any
Fantastic
action. Thank you,
job.
Chief.
Good job.
Good job.
I knew you'd do it. Let's give him a
All
big
right,
And you knew it was on a quarterly basis, too. I'm very impressed.
His
I'm
first
extremely
official report.
impressed.
Sounded good, too.
Hey, you sounded very chief-like. That was awesome, you know? Hey, how do I sound? They're like, little lower. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was a little too high. Good job.
Okay, moving right along. Item number 7, City Treasurer's Report. Update on investment activity report for March the 31st, 2017. Ruby.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Ruby Walla, Finance Director, City Treasurer. This is our quarterly report for our investment positions through March 31st, 2017. Again, our positions with LAIF, Community Valley Bank, Sun Community Federal Credit Union, and of course, our 45 positions that we have with multi-bank securities. Our yields are, you see LAIF is going up. It's up now 0.78 versus a couple years back. When we first started this, it was at 0.25 when they reached to kind of their ultimate low. But overall, our yields are above 1% or greater. Other than that, we continue on our laddered approach with our CDs, continue to roll them as we see new opportunities. Not investing any new dollars into the CD arena or anything like that. It's just basically if there's opportunities to gain a higher yield or they mature, then we reinvest with the 5-year, which of course the 5-year is going to have a better yield for us, and that's why we have them then maturing either 6 months within each other or a year. That's where we're at. And you'll see at the top there, and Community Valley Bank is about to mature on June 10th. Coming around here. So I'm engaging in conversations with them as far as if it's a CD that we're going to continue to do. As you recall, when we first went with CVB, it was a money market fund, which was more liquid. But this one, we took the frame as a CD for this last year. So we'll see what strategy and what rate we're going to go with, continue our investment with Community Valley Bank. We'll start our conversations with Sun Community as well to not miss the opportunity for reinvestment there as well. We still have pending conversations with First Imperial Credit Union, to get them as a potential investor. We have interest from Rabble Bank, which they have a different approach on investment. They have a different strategy and approach they would like to assist the city in. So they may come at one point in time to do a presentation, but I've been in dialogue with them as well. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Sounds like a good thing. It just brings us in a little extra money.
Yeah.
That's right. That's all we can.
At one time, we weren't
Make
making
us
very
money.
much, now we're making more.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along to item number 8, Councilmember Reports, and I'll start with the Mayor Pro Tem.
Truthfully, let me see, what did I honestly can't remember, but I do remember that I went to the doctor today, to the heart doctor, and he said, my heart is doing good. He's not going to have to operate. And so I'm very happy about that. And I even forgot my agenda coming after the doctor. I forgot everything. And so I had to run home and get the stuff. But the heart is good.
The heart's good, okay,
Yes.
that's good.
So I just have to work on my knees.
Very good.
Yay.
That means you can keep your busy
Hey,
schedule.
so look out, world.
All right.
I told her that was good. She can keep her busy schedule now.
Yeah,
Are you
keep
sure
it.
you don't want to cover anything? Okay, you're done?
Yes.
As soon as I
Go
start
ahead.
talking, you're saying,
Then I'll
all right.
remember.
When we
Well, you
start
can tell.
talking, you'll be able to
Well, you
chime
can go
in
with
that you
somebody
get
else.
it.
It doesn't have to be me.
Go
You
ahead,
can-
no, we're going in
No,
order.
I'm just, okay, a couple of things. It seems like a long time ago. This
I
was a
know.
long month. I guess we had like 3 weeks in between meetings, so it seemed
Yes,
like,
it seemed-
and I had to think back, what did I do the past
did you do?
3 weeks? But I think it was close to right after our last meeting, some of us attended the Imperial Valley Economic Summit out at the Barberworth Country Club
Yes.
and the General Assembly. which was not as well attended, I don't think, but I'm not sure if it was because they just had another event a few months before. But it was very good, good speakers, a lot of really good information. We heard some of the same stuff we had heard at the prior session about, renewable energy and about the Salton Sea and things like that, but also from the Transportation, Imperial County Transportation Commission. So all of that was really good information. And then just more recently, I attended, I think all of us attended the Branding Iron annual event, and that was I think that's probably one of the best events we have in recognizing someone that has done something for our community, and the gentleman that was honored was very deserving, and I think everyone there was really pleased with I'm pretty sure there was probably other candidates or just as good, but I mean, it's really a hard decision, I'm sure, to make, but always a great event to attend, and so that's about it. I'll leave the rest to the rest of the gentlemen here.
Mr. Ward?
I got a few announcements to share. I attended the California Fire Emergency and Disaster Conference. Is an annual conference that is, of course, tied to some of my work, but always great to go to that because you get a chance to interface with almost every big agency in Southern California. Tends to be regional. Great stuff there. Branding Iron Ward as well. So congratulations to the Elmore family, Mr. John Elmore, as Councilmember Howdy just mentioned. Very well deserved. And some things were shared actually in the Branding Iron of some of the philanthropy that Mr. Elmore is involved in that many of us don't know about, and some of us learned for the first time at the Branding Iron. So that was fantastic. I want to throw out a quick congratulations to all of our graduates. I know we were honoring some of our athletes, and some of these on the baseball team were a little bit younger, some are seniors. But for our seniors that are moving out, again, huge congratulations to them on that huge milestone in their life. As well as attending the General Assembly. I know I'm out of order, but I had the opportunity to speak as a representative, as a president of our California League of Cities division. So that was, again, it was a privilege to be able to do so. And outside of that, I've got to throw it out there just because obviously I'm proud, but if any of you are on social media, just a little shout out again to my son, of course, 2011 BUHS grad that went on to graduate from the academy, and then now 2 years later, he is promoted to first lieutenant. But the big thing is he was assigned, and that's not the biggest, but I'll say it, but the biggest thing, big thing was he was assigned to the F-22 stealth fighter Raptor. It's about a $160 million jet, so he was very excited. It was the #1 choice. But most important is we have an addition to our family with a new daughter-in-law, but he married a Brawley girl and a great Brawley family, so they've come together. We celebrated that very well. Unfortunately, in Texas, we would have loved to have it here, and I will share with you guys, the weather's actually better here, because if you've ever experienced humidity,
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the dry heat over the humidity heat. But it was a beautiful, beautiful venue. It was a great time. And finally, my wife and I leave in the next couple of days for his actual graduation from pilot training before he moves on to those other milestones. So needless to say, it was a big few weeks for my family. But as always, I appreciate all the support and all the friendship and fellowship we have here in the community. It means a lot, and I think as we honor these kids here today, all of our kids, I agree with Coach Carranza. There's faces in the crowd that knew these kids when they were knee-high at summer day camp, and then they get to go out and do some cool things. So thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll have them come in.
But you still could make them a party once they come over here.
Absolutely, yes.
But make it when it gets cooler.
Yes, and exactly. It'll be a cattle call
Don't
party.
do it in
so-
August. Just don't do it in August.
Yeah, you can always do that.
Lloyd, you do weddings, right?
All right, well,
Nava, would you like to?
yeah, just a quick update. I also attended the Economic Summit and General Assembly with ICT, CIVDC, and that was certainly interesting. League dinner, we participated there as well, over at the old Eucalyptus, and, it was interesting affair as well. I was happy to be able to participate in the sense that I was invited, and I was there with our mayor, Mayor Couchman, by the BPSEA. They hosted a lunch for our outgoing police chief. I thought it was a fantastic little event over at the police station, and they had a taco cart. And it was just great to see how that department comes together as a family, whether it's sworn, non-sworn. But, they presented Chief with some mementos that he's going to be able to cherish for the rest of his life, some really great-looking things. And, it just was great to see that family's come together. And I made the comment there, and I'll make it again, in that when I was first elected and I first started with the city council, the relationship that the city council even had with the police department maybe wasn't the best. Even within the department, there was a lot of, I would, not to say it's perfect today, but, there was more tension there. And I felt very comfortable in being there. And I consider not just the chief now and our former chief, but really, I consider them associates of mine, and I really appreciate all the effort that they put into their positions and all the work that they do. So thanks for sending off our chief in that manner. I appreciate it, and I know he certainly did as well. So that was cool. Also went to the Branding Iron Awards, and that was a well-attended event, enjoyable. Was honored to be able to participate with Councilmember Noriega, or Mayor Pro Tem Noriega and Mayor Couchman, sending off the BUHS varsity baseball team. And I want to thank the Brawley PD and Fire Department for helping with that. They did a great job out there.
Thank
and
you.
That was a fun send-off. So, and just yesterday, we were, Mayor Couchman and I were able, and our city manager were able to meet with the Farm Bureau Executive Committee members, and we had a discussion with respect to One World Beef, and I'm hoping that there's further clarity and understanding on both ends. So anyway, that's very important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Basically, I handed out scholarships to Burlington High School students in the last couple of weeks, and also the Calipatria students on behalf of the Stockman's Club and actually Rotary, the Stockman's Club, and Mario's Hacienda scholarships. So I was able to hand out
And
those
Elks.
scholarships and Elks. I also
You helped
assisted
me.
Helen with the Elks at the Calipatria
Right.
one, and I thought that was very nice. And all of those, so we gave out a variety of different scholarships to these kids, and I think it means a lot to the families and to the youth of our community to receive those types of scholarships. So it was my honor to do that. I attended the Economic Development the General Assembly for the Economic Development Summit. Wasn't as well attended as what some are, but it was very interesting, and we had a good time at the country club. I went to the art show gallery at the Del Rio, Mr. Schmierden, and everybody there that put that on.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really nice event. It was a great time, and
Yeah.
I bought some items, and probably shouldn't, but I do. So, but it was neat. It was neat. The kids really enjoy it. I think the kids that are doing the artwork get to sell some of their artwork, and everybody had a good time at that event. I also attended the Chamber Board meeting, the League of Cities meeting. I explained to them about our corn incident. They thought I said something else, but I didn't. I said C for
Enunciate.
corn.
What? Enunciate.
A corn incident that we had here in Brawley. Kudos to the police department, Public Works, the fire department. They were all in attendance. The Imperial County Sheriff's Department, the looters, and the other people that came just to looky-loos. And we had a great time picking up all the corn off the street. It was a great event, and we had a good time with the new officers. Most of the new officers will never be able to say they had a corn incident up in L.A. You only have a corn incident in Brawley. So just wanted to I made that clear to them when they were there. It was some of the rookie officers. I attended the baseball send-off in the morning, and also thank you to the police department and the fire department. I think both chiefs were there. It was a great event. We had a great time, and we got to take pictures with the kids, and maybe we brought them luck. They won. I mean, that's a big deal.
I
So,
think we did.
Good. I like to think of it that
Yes.
way. The Brandon Iron Award, Mr. Elmore, certainly a deserving recipient. And it was a great event. He wasn't there. It was kind of neat because he got to come on video. But Howard and Richard, his sons, were there. I went to high school with Howard. So it was overall was a great event. The luncheon for the chief was a great luncheon. The food was wonderful. I didn't eat dinner that night because of all the food that I stuffed into myself that day. Also, we had the meeting with the Farm Bureau. I thought that went well, and we just kind of want to have these meetings with the public, kind of let them know what's going on. I also attended an IID meeting today. They did discuss a little bit about One World Beef and their contribution to One World Beef in regards to energy conservation and redoing some things that were out at the plant to make better use of the energy they were utilizing. I think to the tune of like $1.3 million that IID had provided. I think the beef plant's going to spend $1.5 million. I think IID's provided $1.3 million. So that was something that was discussed at the IID meeting today. So I think those things educate the public, and I think they're good things to attend and to be at. Other than that, I think that's all that I have to report. So moving right along, city manager's report.
Two items. The next city council meeting agenda will include the overall budget adoption.
Okay.
So we'll do our best to prepare a cover memo that captures all of the direction and decisions that have been made at various stages of the public meeting process, and we'll also do our best to identify all the known projects that have been through the vetting process.
Okay.
If there are any major deviations, we'll be highlighting them in the presentation and looking for council to signal what other level of detail you'd like to see in the content, since the majority of it will be very familiar. And if there are any departures from the last update, we'll be highlighting in that fashion. So I won't take every single presentation and create a 50 slide, because I don't think there's a desire on the part of council unless you tell me otherwise. Otherwise, we'll do high level and then any deviations.
Yep. Yes,
For
that
all
sounds
the,
great.
so that's for all the funds.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
And wanted to also note that on the next agenda, we will have a resolution regarding the upcoming elections. And at a future date, we'll be looking for final direction on language for the utility user tax and potential action to move forward with that ballot initiative, as well as the treasurer role.
Okay.
So we'll have information coming to you very soon on those topics.
Rosanna, are you anticipating that as part of the next meeting?
Yes, direction, but
Direction.
not final language. The item that we have to deliver to the elections office on
By
by,
August 11th, and we're not gonna meet.
right, but we are in July.
And Rosanna, if you could, for the benefit of some of us that were not
Yeah, we're gonna
on
be
council
July 18th.
in the past with
Right.
other renewals, if there could be a little bit of maybe a do's, don'ts touch on what we as public
I
officials.
think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
and
can
we,
do.
Good idea.
Actually
As it
hope
relates
to
to
get some help from the
some
city attorney
education.
in that area
Yeah.
for staff as well.
Right.
Okay,
Sounds good.
and then in addition, just as all part of that, if also some discussion as to strategically, how can we communicate, or, if we're advocating obviously for the measure, again, in the vein of what we can or can't do. But I think it'll be important, I'm sure, as there's media outlets, advertisement,
stuff.
campaigning, all that kind of stuff that happens.
Right.
So this first step is putting the county on notice that we have an election coming forward,
Right.
which is the 2 seats whose terms are scheduled to expire, as well as the utility user tax, and then whether or not, remember the topic of the treasurer is
Yes.
relative to determining whether council wants to appoint or have, you have to put to the people the question, shall the office of the treasurer,
Remain elected or become an appointed?
Become an employee, yeah.
so that's
Right.
something that the
That has
voters
be
have
on
to
the-
answer?
On an election. Yep. Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
because we currently have our finance director serving
As
as
treasurer.
as a fill-in for a vacated seat.
Correct.
Okay.
All
And
right.
one last item, later this week, Mayor Couchman will be hosting a group of 6th grade students. If anybody is interested in joining at noon, I believe that is Thursday.
They're
Here in council
here in
chambers,
council
they're studying the history of Imperial Valley. They've been out to the museum. They have spent some time at IVC. They're doing all kinds of stops. And there's a group of about 15 Brawley Christian Academy students that we'll be hosting here.
Right.
If anybody would like to join.
Nice.
So we will be here, and I will be talking about the history of the city of Brawley.
What time?
Noon.
From a personal perspective?
Yes.
is that-
Yeah, I have pictures of myself all through the years, the last 60-some-odd years. They'll enjoy it, I know.
The different buggies that you own.
We'll discuss the latest corn incident. We'll discuss all the real happenings in Brawley. If any of you are easily embarrassed, I suggest you don't attend. And then the city attorney report.
Gordon reports that he's been receiving a lot of inquiries about where you can open recreational marijuana facilities in the city, and our zoning ordinance is silent on that. So, and it takes quite a bit of effort to amend a zoning ordinance. So what we're proposing and drafting up is an ordinance that says that the city will not issue business licenses for marijuana establishments, because we're allowed to do that. And that'll just put a kibosh to it until the council decides how we're
Good
going to deal
idea.
with this from a zoning
We're gonna have to deal with it one way or
process standpoint. We'll also
Yes.
pass an ordinance, suggest that you pass an ordinance saying that marijuana use is not allowed in city buildings or city facilities. Because that's something that we have, if we're silent on it, then who knows what the presumption is.
No silence.
Right,
we
so
gotta-
that'll be coming to a council meeting very soon.
Okay, sounds good. All right. City clerk.
Nomination period for the coming election starts July the 17th to August 11th. If the two incumbents fail to seek reelection, it extends to August the 15th at
August
5
15th.
PM.
Does that,
I'm sorry, August 16th.
August 16th?
At 5
If
p.m.
either of us
Mhm.
decided not to, then
Not
it
to.
would
uh-huh.
extend.
It extends an additional 5 days.
All right. Okay.
That's it.
All right, thank you, and we will be going to closed session. Thank you all for attending, I do appreciate it. The meeting could have been real long. Look at this is what we got sent for our agenda. So as you can
It
see,
took us,
the
like,
meeting went very, very well and ended
10
very
hours to read
appropriately
through
to close. We're going to
wasted
closed session
paper.
very timely. So I appreciate everybody, all the staff.
Not true, I
and
read it all.
everybody
It took longer to assemble.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope you
Thank
can
you.
reuse this paper.
Let's take a 2-minute break in case someone
Thank you.
needs something.
So he's in.